Welcome back, ballroom dance friends. Today we get the pleasure of meeting another one of our fellow ballroom dancers, and so I'd like to introduce you to Becca.
Hi.
And so let's go through some questions for Becca and get to know her a little more and her experience in the ballroom dance world. Excuse me. So firstly, what do you do for work?
Well, I am a scientist.
Scientist. Awesome. And then how long have you been ballroom dancing?
Oh, goodness. Well, dancing, I've been dancing pretty much my entire life. Ballroom dancing in particular, I started well over 25 years ago. And then I took a long break and then I came back.
Okay, so over 25 years ago, and took a long break, which is common in the ballroom dance world. And the nice thing is you can always get back on the bike, friends. It's gonna be 500 times faster to learn it the second time. Okay, so next question. How long was that break? And how was that transition going back?
Oh, the break was because I had family. I have a bunch of kids. Children. That will do that to your body. And the transition coming back, it was difficult, I would have to say at first. Just trying to understand what my body was like. You have a new body after you have children, and then dance felt different. I felt that I couldn't do a lot of the same moves I could when I was very young and limber, but eventually you embrace that and learn that there are many other things that your body is very capable of that you never learned.
Yeah, and guys, you do adjust your choreography over the course of your lifetime. Your weaknesses and your strengths are gonna change, and so we're always catering to that. And then, when did you start dancing? Ballroom dancing.
Ballroom dancing. When I was a teenager, I think that's when I really got into swing dancing. And then in college, I did ballroom dancing.
You might want to speak up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, in college. I did ballroom dancing in college, and then after college as well. So.
Okay, and then was this through school or were you at a dance studio?
I was at a dance studio.
Okay. And was this a chain studio or an independent studio?
It was an independent studio.
Okay, and then was this group classes or was this private lessons?
Yeah, sure. So I took both group classes and private lessons. I think the most benefit you get is out of doing both. And certainly private lessons will help gear your ballroom dancing a little bit more towards your own body and what you're capable of.
Definitely. And then have you competed?
Oh, absolutely.
And let's hear about that. When
Okay.
did you start? How old
My
were
goodness.
you? What levels? What styles?
I have competed. I've competed both international Latin, international standard. I've competed in the American styles. I've competed both rhythm and smooth. So all of them, I guess, as well as some of the swing dances, nightclub, two-step, hustle, all of those as well. And most of my competitions, I would have to say, were in Latin and standard. And I competed in both syllabus and open levels.
Okay, fabulous. And did you do amateur or pro-am?
I've danced both. Most of my competitions have been amateur.
Okay, and can you I know it's hard to put in a nutshell, what were the benefits of each of those? Because it's quite a different experience.
Right, so I think that's unique for everybody that chooses whichever route you go. For me, I personally enjoyed amateur competitions better, just the partnership and working towards the same goal. And usually you're both matched at the same level as well. The benefit of Pro-Am is that if you don't have experience, it's great to dance with an experienced dancer, and sometimes you need that.
Yeah, I actually never did Pro-Am, but like Becca, I did compete in smooth and rhythm. Actually, my first style I competed in was rhythm, if you can believe that. And then I switched to international style when I realized, oh, I think I really want to compete on a world stage, not just locally, not even just in the country. And I do recommend, if you're starting out as a beginner in competition, you know what? Throw your hat in the ring in every style. You might have a strength that you didn't realize until you hit that comp floor, okay? And so, do you have a favorite style?
Oh goodness, I have favorite dances.
Okay, let's hear that. Favorite dances.
So I would have to say certainly in standard, probably my favorite dance is the waltz. And in Latin, I would think my favorite dance would be rumba or samba.
And then do you perform as well, or do you just compete and take lessons?
I have dance showcases, so yes, performance at local studios and for audiences.
And then do you feel that helps your dancing, or is it a pain in the butt, or both?
That's a loaded question. Thanks, Sunny.
Especially with family and kids, guys. I'm in this boat too.
I would have to say it's actually the most beneficial, more so the pros outweigh the cons in terms of performing. It gives you a chance to dance for an audience, to feel eyes on you, to try out sometimes new choreography. And the great thing about Showcase is that you get to put in dance moves that you wouldn't necessarily put into a competition routine.
Yeah, that can be fun as well. And actually, if you do standard, I kind of recommend for your first show dance, maybe trying quick step. I know it's a hard dance, but here's why. When you switch to open, it's darn near like learning an entirely new dance. And so show dance is an opportunity to cultivate muscle memory in those new figures. You don't want to learn them a week before you put them on the comp floor, honestly, because they are, you have a lot of like double, triple syncopations. It does take a lot of muscle memory. So something to consider. Really, any style is helpful, but I always kind of encourage people to do quick step first if they have long-term, high-level competitive goals. And so how many Pro-Am partners did you have over the years?
Pro-Am partners that I competed with, I've had 2 or 3.
And then did you have what made your favorite one the most favorite for you?
Probably my very first Pro-Am partner in terms of competition. And why that was, I think it was just a really enjoyable experience. Really tried to understand how I dance as a dancer, and was really there for me under times of stress.
Okay, and then have you had multiple amateur partners?
I have, yes.
And can you how many? Are we talking 2, 10?
Over the course of my competitive experience, I have probably had over 10 competitive partners, and this is because I dance many different styles.
Yeah. And guys, this is a question I get often in the comments from both leads and follows, like, oh my gosh, how do I find a partner? So I'm sure you're impressed that Becca's had over 10. And she did mention that part of that ability to have access to more partners is that she was willing to try different styles. And honestly, I find when I'm teaching, different styles do cross-pollinate with the technique. Even if you're talking like rhythm and standard or something quite different, there are some pieces that you can master in one dance and you learn it 500 times faster when you transition to that new style. And that is why I started actually in rhythm. That's just what my first competitive partner wanted to do. Oh, okay. I kind of had the traditional ballroom dances in mind, but I had a blast and I did well, so could care less, learned a lot. And it always makes you a better social dancer too, which in my opinion is very important for competitors. Do not just isolate yourself in that bubble. Not good for your dancing, not good for the dance community. Okay, so do you take groups, privates, both now?
Absolutely, both. Both are, I think, both beneficial, both are very much necessary.
And then what do you feel is kind of the benefit of each of those?
The benefit of group classes is that you're exposed to other dancers who have different questions that you might not necessarily think of, or need to learn a different type of technique that you can be exposed to that might help in your dancing.
So test driving different partners in group classes, totally agree.
And then privates are definitely necessary because you always need to work with a great teacher to help bring out the best in your dancing.
Yeah, and I would caution you guys, if you watch my technique videos, these are meant to supplement what your pro is teaching you in your privates. I don't see you. I am honestly just making generalizations about what I see from most people in my town, so I could teach something that absolutely doesn't apply to you. I'm really painting with a broad brush, so don't exchange that for what your pro is kind of sharing with you in your private, because they can cater that to your individual body, your strengths, your weaknesses, the way you naturally move. Okay, friends, once again, we've gone over the 10-minute mark. I am going to do a part 2 on this because I am sure you guys want to learn more about Becca. So thanks so much for being open with your story today, sharing with us. I'm sure that's going to be very interesting and helpful to many people. And I'll see you in the morning, and we can't wait to talk more with Becca and learn more about her vast experience in the ballroom world. Bye, guys.